All right, what's going on, ladies and gents? You're gonna see my face in just a second. We are back. Said it would take about 15 minutes. Picked up a little bit of Meatball's special gifts. We're getting 2 treats over here. One for later. You guys ready for a trivia giveaway? Right? We're gonna do it on this stream. You guys are gonna go onto the after hours. You guys are gonna talk about what it means for dark pools to do what they truly do. What's going on? We're gonna talk about it here. But first things first, ding ding. 3 o'clock over on the East Coast, which means it's power hour. Hey, hope you guys are excited. We are having the true fans come on back with real-time latency. This is ultra-low latency. Let's see how this works today. We have Jim Lewis saying, I'm back. Hello, good morning, afternoon, evening, good night, wherever you are. I'm just gonna make sure that we have ultra-low. We do. We have ultra-low latency. It's so ultra low, you guys are going to not have 1440p streaming quality anymore. That's what it said. It said it won't be able to show 1440p. You guys are gonna have to deal with dirty old 1080p. Nan says, am I being rewarded for coming back? Heck yeah. Trivia rewards coming out in just a few hops and skips. So we were real close to that 2,000 like counter on the previous video. So if you guys remember, what is the macro pattern, right? What is the macro? It says error, you need to change this video resolution. Let me see what resolution we're actually running at right now. 1440, oh. 1440, oh. Wow, that's so fast. That's very close to real time. Let's see how long before YouTube like throttles me or something. Let's see. You guys are back. I'm excited. Let's do this. We have AMC's price action still below its volumetric weighted average price, and GME currently trending underneath its 214 level of support. It bounced off of earlier and now has turned support into resistance. That is how the cookie crumbles. Over on AMC, we are, I was expecting the worst of the worst, a full drop down to 54 to complete that pennant. That has not yet happened, only a drop of 2.5%, probably because it only has 70 million of volume on the day, half of the regular, but honestly, in terms of relative sense, only a quarter of the volume that it normally sees in these past few days. All right, people are already jumping in. Charles Hartman knows the answer. Okay, so we're gonna do our trivia question at 1,000 viewers. So when 1,000 people come rolling in, then we'll do our trivia question. And then I'm gonna honor the like counter, right? Past 2,000 likes on this video, every 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 likes, each time we're gonna do a trivia giveaway for each of those milestones. People already know. Bullish pennant and a cup and handle. T-Selfer is going to get a tattoo of us if AMC reaches 100K anytime the rest of the year. A tattoo of us? Like me and Meatball? Or like the entire Moon Platoon? Get a tattoo of each and every single 109,000 subscribers in here. Remember, yes, we are less than 100 subscribers away. Fewer than 100 subscribers away from that major milestone. 109, which means we are then just 2,000 away from 111,111. That is the Make-A-Wish milestone. Are y'all ready? Let's take a look at once again at Mr. Lauer's story that has gotten people so riled up. AMC underneath that 57 put wall at $57. We saw this build its way midway through the day, $57 at $3 million worth of puts. Honestly, the options chain is pretty pitiful today, in addition to the fact that there's barely any volume on the day either. Charles Payne calling people bees on Fox is peak ape. Is he really? Did that on national TV? Cable television. Let's see if we can pull up something similar. Exclusive 605. Why aren't you a member yet? These are the questions. Some of these are asking these questions here. The Charles Payne playlist. I need a Charles Payne playlist here. Okay, all the way up to what Mr. Dave Lauer was saying earlier today. From 1 hour ago, dark pools, price discovery, and short selling marking. So we wanted to clarify what people actually do in the dark pools. All trades in national market system have to be printed to a SIP feed, right? And all of them have to be reported to the TRF within 10 seconds of being executed. So despite whether or not it goes through the dark pools, you cannot hide what you're doing, according to him. But there are still incentives, as he elaborates in the edit that he puts in this article, as well as the comment section, that there are major let's say disingenuously mercurial incentives that hedge funds can use to be able to take advantage of the dark pools. Both invented in the same year as the Roth IRA. Both invented to try and help out the little guy, help out the common investor. Definitely didn't seem like that's what helps. Hedges are working overtime tonight. Jezebel asking for a link. Jezebel gets it. I want it too. Okay. Let's see if we can, I think the Portnoy conversation just ended. Portnoy. Mr. Custom Nike says, been no money marathoning all week. Can we get a Lux check? Take a look at Lux. GameStop had the strong sell signal during the slide of the day. As soon as that bear slide turned the EQ into from blue to red, it has been sliding non-stop. Got a very close crossover into bullish and then turned back into bearish for the rest of the day. That's an easy bear trap for bulls to think that there is a chance that a crossover could happen. A strong buy signal now on AMC. One strong buy, one strong sell, and one strong buy as bearish turns into bullish. Seems like AMC right now has the strong buy signal from Mr. Lux algorithm. All of this for a drop of blood. 3.24 million on GameStop, 72 million on AMC. The lowest volume day in a while, but that's exactly what it takes to start creating these incentives for up and down trends, and then finish out the patterns for the cup and handle. We need low volume. In fact, I'll let Investopedia confirm that. Cups and handles over here. This is the cup and handle definition. right here in volume. Volume should decrease as prices decline and remain lower than average in the base of the bull. It should then increase when the stock makes this move higher back to test its previous high. So in order for a cup and handle to actually take place, we need to be able to see the prices decline and the volume to remain low. Take a look at a theoretical cup and handle, right? And then take a look at a historical cup and handle. From Wynn in 2002. This is Wynn Resorts Limited that went public in 2002 and had a cup and handle play out in 2012. Oh, thank you. Okay. Oh no, Charles Payne calls Dave Paper Hands Portnoy. A little B word. I think I can have it. I think I can have this as my one bad word of the day, as long as it was Charles Payne who said it. Here it is. Paper Hands Portnoy. Okay, that's because I still have the. I think I still have my latency playing. That's right. I still have my playback playing right now. Whew. Okay. How's this new low latency, huh? Isn't that cool? Yeah. All right, let's see it.
I'm trying to. No, I'm not being. You're being a little bitch.
Oh.
So would you stop looking at these people and go to Gary Gensler and say help change the rules? Like that. Would you ask Gary Gensler to change the rules? Social media is making.
That's incredible. Oh, they didn't hear no bell. Oh shoot. Okay. That is pretty incredible. Holy moly. That is paper-handed Portnoy. The definition of paper hands right here. Getting called a little B by Charles mother effing Payne. Oh, Jiminy Crickets, that was crazy. Well, Power Hour is among us. We have 690 people in here, but we need 1,000 for that giveaway. And then we will be honoring every 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 likes as another giveaway. Whichever comes first, though, because we are getting real close to that 109,000 subscriber mark. What was that shenanigan? Holy crap, what's next says, Holy Moly is my other channel. Oh, that's great. Let's take a look at GME getting rejected at the 214. Right, so forming a double attempt to try and take 214. Now currently hovering underneath its simple moving average. This is a pattern that is still bearish, right? From AMC's point of view, we've had that strong buy signal over here on around 55.60s. And now we see an attempt to take 57.20. Rejected underneath the VWAP and now currently trending right above that VWAP, about to take that 57 resistance again. I am Mr. Nimbus. I like how we just have Mr. Nimbus in here. Every so often saying I am Mr. Nimbus. Did C-Pain say that on live television? Yes, he did. That was, I think he could tell that he was like, this is gonna go viral. I better put that on internet. Let's see. Conceptual Logic still talking to that booking agent. You know, sometimes they have something directly in front. Sometimes they don't. Depends on how right now what is hot in the markets. I think the AMC making his way back up is going to be right on the market of a potential pennant here. A lot of people won't be able to recover from this bullish pennant if the margin calls start coming through, as they would with NSCC 002 daily 1 hour margin calls. I think that clip is going to age very well. People are talking about a GME inverse head and shoulders. And head and shoulders, right, normally comes from the potential of the shoulders to essentially be higher highs than the other highs that it came from. So the inverse head and shoulders part is this is the torso, right, coming up to the shoulder on the left side. You can say this is the right shoulder, but maybe they're facing away from you. And then this is the right shoulder here. Both of these shoulders are lower highs, or I suppose higher lows than the lowest part, the head. Sean says, Andrew, why have we had so little volume these last 2 days? This is won't people normally rally after passing a new rule that helps push the stock forward? Most apes are holding, right? Most apes are not, do not have a constant supply of liquidity. If you're an ape of the 4 million apes, you likely have spent most of your money, right, from either AMC or GME side, and now are currently just waiting around to see what happens. Right, you could get a new paycheck, you could buy more rips, but right now this is not a substantial enough dip to attract the attention of FOMO. Not a big enough dip to attract the attention of people looking for a deal, and not a big enough rip to create FOMO. So that's why consolidation is when the news networks go dark, but is honestly the most important part of the storm that is incoming. And Jim Shamer also wants to say, part 1, anyone wondering why you want low volumes because you carry on with 500 million stocks being traded in a day? You don't want them to be able to cover all their shorts in a day. The volume is as high as it is due to high frequency trading. A small amount of shares, when they go cover these shares, they will get bought up immediately, dropping volume and rocketing price. Okay, let me change. Will the margin calls begin after hours? We know that there is going to be daily margin calls starting when the NSCC 002 actually fully goes into place. That's why we are going to start asking, will the margin call squeeze begin after hours? Where is my thumbnail? There it is. Kenny G. Kenny Griffin. Okay. Patience is key for the transfer of power. There are trillions, and these are trillions. Next Millionaire Next Millionaire is actually a misnomer. He's looking for trillions of dollars here. Have the boy fetch me the wine. I control the police. Mr. Nimbus. If you guys haven't seen the new Rick and Morty yet, it's pretty great. Probably one of my favorites. As a reminder, Ortex talked about the fact that now the exchange numbers are coming out from FINRA, that they had been underreporting the short interest for a very long time. Actually, that's the wrong clip. This is it. Ortex says for June 15th, the exchange is reporting hashtag short interest in AMC as 85 million shares. This is a larger number than expected and indicates a higher than anticipated short interest in AMC. So, Meatball was just chewing on his toes. He wants to taste those tasty toe treats. Hey, good? Good? Hey. Wait. I'm just waiting until someone asks me how much AMC stock price is so Jim Shamer can shout, "It's over 9,000!" How accurate are Ortex datas? The plural of datum is data, so data is already plural. But the question you're asking is Ortex takes in 85% of the market and has to elaborate or evaluate what's missing. They have been underreporting the short interest for the last 2 exchange reported the short interest dates in a row. Right, last time around it was around 100 or so million when Ortex was only reporting like 70-ish. Or even lower, and now they're reporting 85, where Ortex was only reporting, even today, only 74 million. Still a very healthy short interest rate of 14%. It could be as high as 20. Oh, Andrew Kiley, he'll know. The Nipple decides, I sold a Tesla share for AMC. Is that a mistake? Well, Tesla, has it gone all the way to 700 yet? It was rejected at 700 earlier today, so that was like 6-7% up, and then rejected right after that. Mr. Nimbus says, send him to prison! 2K would give AMC $1 trillion market cap, and that's a nice feeling to just think about. Just have that nice and warm in your brain. Ah, that's nice. Okay. Service Merc says, I legit actually had a dream that GME hit 10,000 overnight and was hovering around 2,000 when I woke up. What a trip. I actually woke up too much DD reading. Got your tease, Jade. Ortex can only be as accurate as the hedge funds are accurate with the data that they give out, and that's exactly right. Dandy Jandon, margin call after hours. Why would Andrew say this? The margin call squeeze is already underway. We know that a margin call defaulting hedge fund was over in London. White Square was the first of many hedge funds to get destroyed. NSCC 002 is going to be on the books for both the DTCC and the Federal Registry today. So in that case, if there is margin calls coming through, they likely will be during the after hours starting today. Can we add Papernoy to the book? Paper-handed Portnoy has been an insult as early as January of 2021 of this year. Yeah, we need John here for comment. Joseph Yusuf is saying that my understanding is that 002 is approved and is active. You would be correct if you're from the DTCC's perspective. You would be correct if you're thinking about the Federal Register's perspective. Whose perspective else do you need? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Somebody's in for a whipping. Uh-oh, who is it? Thought crime. I have way too many tabs open here. Jeez. Here's a highlighted section from Lucy Commissar's investigative journalism. Right, CEO told the Congress that they had discussed trade restriction with DTCC, and then a month later, DTCC CEO Michael Bodson said, yeah, that did not happen. Robinhood lied under oath, or DTCC lied under oath. Either way, that's a fun little picnic for later. Did you see Portnoy on Charles Payne? Yes, he did. They started beefing hard. It was hilarious. We just played that clip. That is pretty fantastic. And that's TV. So if cable TV can show it, then we definitely can as well. Holy crap! What's next says if this moons, he will retire for a 3rd time. Dirk is worried about his options. That's why we haven't really been saying. That's why options has been a deadly double-edged knife. Okay, that's Mr. Adam Aaron's question here. A safe bet as the number has increased. So this was a DD that was specifically looking at Ortex underreporting the amount of short interest, and it was absolutely right. Chris Rickus would like to live to first retirement. What about second? I don't think he knows about second retirement. Volume is so low today, Scott Cunningham, and that is exactly what we want. Take a look one more time at a cup and handle. Cup and handle and bullish pennants are both about low volume. Volume is decreasing, and that is the trend. That is the trend that we follow when we take a look at this. Back to the options chain. Mr. Diamond Hand says, I tapped the like button too hard. My bad. You know what? I will forgive you as long as everyone else makes that math make sense. Smashing that like gets more Moon Platoon members in here so that we can spend all of After Hours together. Well, most of After Hours together. We need an Only Stonks page. $57, man, let's push past 60 so we can take your profit at 100. Remember, 57 right now is where $4 million worth of puts are. It's another million on in addition to what we had earlier. These are at the market puts that are taking down the price a notch. Expensive, to say the least, for hedge funds. But that is one of the ways that they can keep the price low. The other way is how AMC had just 2 million available, just got $1 million of that borrowed. 2.7, okay. It's the Stonko Tracker is changing its story. 2.7 million available shares. That means a difference of basically another 2 million shares that just got borrowed from iBorrowDesk. So AMC has 2 million shares borrowed to short, as well as this $57 put wall here. Let me see if my drawings are still here. Perfect. If you guys are wondering what the margin call squeeze and why is it so much more likely now, is because of the potential of the margin call number, right, if we cross it, to be added a lower threshold than because of the supplementary liquidity deposits that the hedge funds now have to pay on a daily basis. Over on the potential trade-off between taking more risk and risking a margin call, it used to be less and less risky that the margin call would happen, the more naked shorting and counterfeit shorting the tactics used to be take as much risk as you want. The DTCC doesn't care. Now the DTCC with 002 does care. We have a parabolic relationship, and that is very, very different. Someone mentioned it, but the short interest is near 18%. That is the math behind this tweet. Let's do some math right now. Well, not this tweet, this one. Let's do some back of the envelope math right here. 85 million shares, right? If 73.37 million is 14%, that means that we are considering a free float of divided by 0.14. A free float of 524 million. And that means that we are looking at 524 million as the denominator. Look at 85 million divided by that. 16 million as according to, as of June 15th, is the short interest. In terms of 85 million, there likely was a smaller float, which is why the 18% short interest is the number that's been floating around. Blazer Dave says, ha, I saw they buy. I am famous, lol. Risky Uncles, yes, Indie Red Mama, the Risky Uncles are coming back. Where is Ja, TBH? Okay, Ortex. Let me send an email to James Kaczynski. Hey James, there's news circulating that the true short interest for AMC is 18%. Can you confirm? All right, let's see if Ortex can. Matt Hatter says, I'm here for Power Hour. Let's go. Nazmi Oskan says, where are the likes? Apes, only apes with bananas get happy. That's right, only apes with bananas get happy. Spits Flames says, I hit the movies last night at AMC. It felt good. That's the position that you guys are getting on this banana rocket ship here. George Soro, you're doing the chat a service. Umi says it seems they have been severely limited by 002 and the overall monetary tensions of the government. Don't you think that they'll sink us with 10% drop on red days before? Very, very similar to the concept that we are currently experiencing low volume and low and downward price action because of hedge funds doing their thing, manipulating the stock and being overall bad people. But the thing that you have to consider is that in order for these bullish pennants to actually form, we need to be able to consider the lower the volume, the lower the price action, the better. Jim Danda would like to sew that macro pennant again, sure. All right, let's do that raffle. It's 25 minutes until the day is over. You guys get a reward for showing up during Power Hour. So the question is, I'm showing you the macro pennant for AMC right now. What is the macro pattern that GME is following right now? So this bullish pennant here is nearing completion with a breakout at around 29 or 30. What is the macro pattern? I'm going to zoom out to show you on GME. The first 3 people that get it right are immediately going to be added to the list. The next are all going to be random. Moon Platoon, baby. This trivia question is thanks to the people that smash that like button. So if you want another chance, if you don't win this one, you're gonna have to smash that like right now and get another chance at 2,000 likes on this video. So Ben Dover, that is correct. Wyatt, no, that is correct as well. The answer is a cup and handle. T Sulfur was just waiting for that answer. So T Sulfur comes in, snipes that answer, and the rest are going to be random. So you have 10 seconds. You can respond multiple times. And the most important part is that you guys are smashing that like, because only people who are subscribed and liked are going to be able to win that raffle. I always check after you guys win the raffle whether or not you are publicly subscribed to the channel. So make sure that if you want a chance to win, you got to hit that subscribe button. All right, the first random choice is Lupe de Leon. The next one is Charles Hartman. He has a lot of heart, that Charles. We have, holy crap, what's next? Coffee cup full of attendees. I'll take it. And let's zoom out to see that exactly. On the daily, there's that cup and handle. Beautiful formation right there. Draw it out with a red marker. Nah, let's use a yellow marker. There's that handle with the potential Zim Zam breaking out towards the end of the month. Who's next? Jason Tantillo. Who's next? Let's give Castle Group Operations. And remember, if you don't win this giveaway, you will be able to win the next macro giveaway, because everyone that gets a chance now will get a chance later as well. Stephanie Warner. Reminder, guys, as I'm collecting these names, you guys are giving me the answers to these trivia questions, but also you guys are taking a chance to continue learning and getting on up to 111,000, the wish number of subscribers here. Mark Brett, that is correct. Don't you like this closer to real-time question asking here? And then Bishop TR Preston. And let's do one more. How about Millie Battison? Put that into the choice generator. These are the people that are going to have a chance. If you see your name on there, congratulations. 3, 2, 1. Oh, wait. Everybody wins now. Dean Choi. Dean Choi, send me an email at angemobusiness@gmail.com because you just won a one-on-one with me and Professor Meatball. Talk about whatever you want to. And we are going to go and zoom on to 2,000 likes where you guys can choose something from the merch store or something else, maybe a wish. We're going to start doing raffles in a way that makes more sense because it depends on what you guys are hoping to see, what you guys would like to talk about. Okay. So, cup and handles, right? We need to see lower volume on that cup and handle, and that is exactly where we are getting at. More and more volume is going to be an example of when that cup and handle is going to explode. So, let's turn off that real quick and go back to the price action. Remember, we are going a couple of hours into the after hours here. So even in 20 minutes when the market is over, we're still going to be talking about them stonks. Jay Lee says, I wish for more wishes. Dean Choi says, thank you. You're very welcome. Half a meatball and tail. Kulain Smith says, thanks for all the great resources. Boom, says Bree. Let's do it. Turn the volume down, baby. I need a real quiet Mad Hatter. We're getting exactly that. Some nice and quiet talk here. GME has now gone pushed to the lowest of its lows today, down 2.5% still. Not a lot of volume means you even on the dips, you can't go much further than where you are now. 213 is the current price action, right $1 above its lowest low and with 3.5 million on the day and only 20 minutes left. Bishop TR Preston says, thanks for all you do. Thank you, Bishop. Bogumbi says, hey, Andrew, glad you're back. Was watching a video, and you said that over the last 20 days, there have been over 550, and they say that there's over 555 million shares that have been shorted. What do you think about that? So over the last 20 days, right, 555 million shares shorted doesn't tell us enough about the amount of shares outstanding, right? All of these shares must be reported within 10 seconds to the exchange, as according to Dave Lauer. Whether it's on an exchange or on an ATS or off exchange, it still needs to be registered as any other trade. So if that's the case, then we could see, let's assume that 555 million shares have been shorted. Then that means that they've all have been covered, or at the very least we'll be able to start seeing that reflected in the data within 24 hours, right? This is going to be something that even with latency, even with a 2-week delay, it still doesn't make sense when it comes down to that amount of short. Now that could be naked, that could be something else entirely. But as of right now, with the governing rules of how the systems work, we, according to Dave Lauer, cannot accept that as 555 million shares currently outstanding. Max Miller says cap and ladle. I like that. Pup and sandal. Kulain says common apes. Let's smash that like. There's enough of us watching to triple the like count. Let's support this amazing resource. Kulain, hands off, hats off. Salute to you. Slime baller, cheaters. Dean wants to know the email again. It's andrewmobusiness@gmail.com. Pulling down from 57 makes sense. We've been talking about that $57 put wall for a while, as well as the 2 million, well, let's say 1.9, just for safety, but 1.8 million shares that were borrowed at 10:30 Eastern time this morning. Currently only have a million available, which means that there's 1.8 million shares that have been borrowed to short over on the hedge fund side. Cops and bundle. At Blazer Dave says, like, another algo smashed. Lap and candle. Mike Verdi, thank you for the super. Thanks for supporting your Andrew Mo Meatball. Over here, look at him. Well, it's greatly appreciated. Keep your supers to yourself if you guys are on that financial journey. I understand just watching the show, tuning in whenever I go live, and pressing that bell button is enough. Right? This is a free resource. Keep it free. Continue investing in the stocks you care about without taking that as financial advice. Pup on mantle. Why would anybody in the dark pool give them a discount on the share price? People in the dark pools are greedy too. That's right. So we're looking at Dave Lauer's dark pool price discovery and short selling DD here. And even in his edit, so even though he is adamant that you cannot hide what you're doing in dark pools, in his edit, he wants to be clear that there is much to gain from utilizing dark pools in the way that the hedge funds do. Right? They want to be able to have market makers on exchanges to make money, and they want competitions for order flow. Off-exchange trading is antithetical to those aims, and it has its place for institutional orders. The level of off-exchange trading, especially in stocks heavily traded by retail, such as GME, is a symptom of broken market structure with intractable conflicts of interest, such as payment for order flow. When the head of New York Stock Exchange says that the NBBO isn't doing its job for price discovery, this is what she is referring to. If I, as a market maker, post a better bid on exchange, then suddenly a bunch of off-exchange trades happen at the price level I just created, then the off-exchange traders are free riding my quote, right? Free riding my quote as someone who has taken the risk to basically put out the price that I'm willing to sell at. Let's imagine that you're going to a used car salesman, or yeah, I think that's a perfect analogy, or you're trying to like charter a taxi in a foreign country, right? You don't know how much it costs. So now you're going to have to go and shout out your number. Hey, can I ride your taxi for like $200, right? Well, in most countries, that's going to be perfectly acceptable, right? $200 is going to get you pretty far in any taxi, but you just wasted a bunch of money because you were the one that shared information first. Now imagine that there is this weird shadow network of people looking at your willingness to pay. You shout out what number you want to charter a taxi for, and then all of a sudden they can use your quote and free ride, knowing that there are people like you who are willing to buy or sell at a specific price point. And that is the point of dark pools, is being able to free ride without any risk. Used to be able to be given the small guy, the little guy power of, used to be able to give the small guy the power against the big guy. Now it is serving almost the exact opposite intention. Our option chain showing for Friday. Let's take a look. We have 70,000 calls expiring in the money. Now remember, this was like 180 when Stonko Tracker was glitching. So 70 seems very fair. 70 seems like it makes sense. There's also 300,000 expiring out of the money, expiring worthless, which means people once again have thrown overly bullish estimates of the price action and basically threw their premiums out down the drain. Ja Rule, you're alive! Kung Hee says, why do you think margin calls are possible after hours? Well, given the fact that you do have to be able to take into consideration how much money you need throughout the day, the first hour of trading is the first hour of getting their SLD to the DTCC is going to have a major lag to the end of after hours. So that buying pressure needs to happen, but it is an algorithm that controls it. This is why after hours margin call squeezes are likely because of NSCC 002. Brandon Martin is in the house. Yo, yo, yo. Ducks wearing sandals? Ugh. Wow, this is super low latency. I hope that the quality of the video is worth it. Jezebel, if you do start your own channel, I'm coming on your show to guest star. Okay, so they are taking no risk and reaping the reward while I take all the risk on exchange and do not get the trade. Essentially, I say, I want $200. Can someone, give me a taxi ride for $200, right? And then a whole bunch of people either snipe my order or they understand my willingness to pay and can factor that into their trading algorithms. Can you explain 002 more? Gladly. Let's use my little diagrams. So, what do we have here? Well, this is my cup and handle, so let's get rid of that. So close. I thought I could get rid of that one. Okay. So what we are currently looking at is a potential to cross a certain price after a gamma squeeze or a margin call squeeze, right here. So if that price crosses over this yellow line, boom, margin call. Sorry, yellow. I meant to say red line, that's a margin call. Currently, we don't know what that line is, but clearly it wasn't $73, which is what we crossed on AMC earlier in the month. Now, that said, if we get a lower margin call line because of the SLDD, then that's a possibility given to us by the NSCC 002. A supplementary liquidity deposit is an additional fee or a liquidity deposit that they have to pay because of risky behavior, and that's calculated on current risk level, not historical or forecasted. That is a brand new mathematical equation that the short hedge funds have to be privy to and understand how SLDs are being calculated. Now, whether or not they can or cannot afford the SLD, they have 1 hour to come up with the money. If not, boom, bye-bye. And that boom, bye-bye now has to come into this equation of, well, what are they willing to do? Because without 002, this red line here, their relationship between margin calls and risks was inverse. Essentially, the higher the risk that they took, the lower the chance that they had a margin call coming in the near future. However, with 002, it becomes a parabolic relationship. The more risk that they take on, the more likely that they'll be able to take margin call. But if they take no risk at all, then they'll also be likely to take a margin call because the true price of AMC and GME are just going to bubble up to the surface. So they have to manipulate the stock, but just a little bit. And they're not sure how much there is. And if they do anything wrong, they're walking on a tightrope and they're going to get burned. Cohen said, did you hear about the new latest Ortex short percentage? Yes. 18%. I mean, that's what AMC was at during the last gamma squeeze, right? So in that sense, it's, okay. It's high. It's certainly high, but we never were in danger of too many shorts covering even to begin with. AMC. Okay, never mind. Never mind. What, quick call and response. What is the current display quality of this video? Is it 1440 or is it lower? G Villa is asking, can you please explain the phrase, if you can, a company is short at 25% of the float? Is this okay, good, or great? This is great for a potential short squeeze. Thanks, man. You're the best. Oh, G Villa, you are awesome. This is the other half of where Volkswagen squeeze came from, right back in 2008. Volkswagen squeezed at less than 12%, roughly around there, short interest. So you have double the short interest on your hypothetical 25% short. Where is Ja? Let's see. If you're playing calls, don't play close expiration dates. Yeah, that's when you really can get burned. But also, it depends on how likely you can see the future, because it gets blurrier and blurrier the further out you're forecasting. Seba says 360. I hope you're not watching this on 360. That would be unfortunate. People say 1440. Yeah. If you guys can consider 1440, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Off the Hook Girls is asking Jessa, what is a cup and handle? Jessa, you can use this helpful teaching tool here with the 3 bullet points. Actually, you can use these ones. Key takeaways. Cup and handle is the technical chart pattern that resembles a big old cup, shape of a U, and a handle that has a slight downward drift. Answer coming in the chat. What's going on? Throw the ant emojis or the ape emojis. Throw the ant and the ape emojis for the friendship that we have with Korean traders and non-Korean traders here. Someone said 240 watching in your smartwatch. I had no idea you could. Watch inside your smartwatch? That is a cool power. 6 minutes left until after hours. Hope you guys are excited. We're gonna stand. Meatball and I are gonna stand in just 1 minute. $12 rate. Daniel says I'm half Korean. We got those ants in the chat, ants and apes. LA King says I just rolled my 23s out, first time doing this, and it was like half my yearly salary. Yo, have we talked about not investing more than you're willing to lose on stocks that have high volatility? Okay, just a quick PSA. Let's see. We need the truth. I 100% agree, Jay Farrell. Hopefully you're staying around for after hours so you can ask me hard-hitting questions and I can answer. Sean, we are investing. GameStop is looking like it is nowhere under $100 anytime soon. So why keep shorting it? Yeah, why? Why keep shorting it? That's a good question. Remember that the guy that said the AMC was heading to a penny? He had some math under his belt. He knew that Fubo, other companies were doing poorly, and yet he did not guess AMC correctly, not even close. Stock lingo is used to create a barrier to people learning. Instead of calling a cup and handle, this could be explained in plain terms. 100%. Off the hook, girls, you are right. What would you call it? You can call it, you know, bullish pattern number 1, right? Or you can call it something more visual, like a, oh gosh, like a U, like a W shape, right? Or a cup, something a little bit more visual for beginner traders, something that looks like a cup maybe. When you guys look at this, what would you consider? What would you call this pattern? Let's stand. Okay, let's stand. We're standing. Come on, buddy. We're standing in here. Oh, good boy. Good boy, don't move. The last 4 minutes of the day left, and we are standing tall. A bowl and ladle. Penny times 100,000. Reverse L market structure. They're called a rocket launcher. A pool and spool. Aw, you guys have good names. Let's see. Andrew K says, just on break from work. Can you check often quick before I get after it? Ortex, you mean? Ortex came up with a new tweet that says that they don't have the right short interest number reported as of June 15th. And this is a story that has been tracking since the last time FINRA updated their numbers. The last time FINRA updated the numbers, they also had a lower short interest reported on Ortex than the exchange reports. So this is good news. The shorts are higher than we expect. I am Mr. Nimbus, the Marianas Trench. The Swedish Viking axe. You're talking about this? Is a Swedish Viking axe? That is from Kiss. Gene Simmons' axe there. Who's the goodest boy? All right, just 2 minutes left on that clock. We're standing tall. GME is currently at 212.74, hanging on in between its EMA, its simple moving average, and its resistance at 215. AMC, on the other hand, at 56.56, make a wish, down 3% on the day with less than 80 million volume. This is the least volume AMC has had in a long time, perfect for breaking the pennant that it is currently forming. Meatball is so oblong that I can't tell if he's standing or not. Like, oh, I dropped a tweet. Can I have another one? You can have one more. Good boy, don't move. All right, 1 minute left until we hit that bell. We're looking at 56.59 and pushing. Right now, there's absolutely nothing against AMC's price action except the 2 million shares borrowed from iBorrowDesk and the $57 put wall that we saw earlier on the options chain. So those two things have been keeping AMC underneath $57 this whole day. Why $57 became the new trench, the new battleground dollar sign, we're gonna have to investigate during the after hours. Hope you guys are excited. We have less than 30 seconds left before the day is over. Here it is. I'm gonna call it. Break. Good boy. Good job, baby boy. And when Meatball catches this like, all of you put your hands on the like button and smash it, because we're going to go into the after hours right now. Liked and subscribe. So we're going to talk about the after hours potential of a margin call squeeze, how margin calls are going to start rolling out because of NSCC 002, and give you guys a recap of the news for the day, including how you can start identifying cups and handles with a handy dandy visual diagram. All right, almost 2,000 of you in here. Reminder that at 1,000 likes, we're going to do a fun trick with Meatball. If you guys haven't seen a dog dab yet, or do a trick that you guys probably haven't seen yet, we'll do that at 1,000 likes. And at 2,000, we're doing another trivia giveaway. Hope you guys have been paying attention. AMC is at 56.68 on the day, minus 2.78% with 80 million volume. Right, we talked about how dark pool could have been the explanation for the price action being pushed downwards, but more likely it is the $4 million worth of puts at $57 strike, right, also known as a put wall, and the 2 million shares that were borrowed somewhere around 10:30 and on the morning, 10:30 Eastern time, 2 million shares were borrowed, and around right now there's only about 950,000 left. So where do they go? Borrowed to fuel the ever hungry shorts in trying to bring the price action of AMC down, except this time around might be the last week that they can continue taking these risky bets. Remember, the inverse relationship of margin call possibility to the risk that they take is now become parabolic. So the more risk that they take on, the more likelihood that they will take a margin call. And if today was any indication, 2 million shares borrowed is a very risky play. And in addition, we are going to see that reflected pretty soon in the supplementary liquidity deposits that AMC has to pay. AMC shorts have to pay. Matt Bear Comedy says, I held today. My nerves are becoming more callous more and more each day. Yeah, low volume. Let's take a look at exactly why we want low volume to play out, especially for this bullish pennant on the macro charts here. Take a look at this white dotted line. This gives us a sign of where we are expecting the end of this breakout to be, right around the 29th of June. You can see that next to my cartoon face around here. So currently we're here on the 24th. Go out, not quite out of the pennant yet. Go out a little more, not quite out of the pennant on the 29th. That's the tip of the pennant, or somewhere slightly outside of that consolidation at the 30th. Either way, that is the end of June coming up on the end of this bullish pattern. Both of those two factors both come in to the T+0 DD that Creon has been putting out there. So we've been seeing the pattern of 7 days in a row of upward momentum, and the options chain factoring in as well. So the next FTD spike can cause the price to absolutely soar into a price range, which requires more liquidity, making it harder for them to suppress the price. Remember, liquidity is the entire mathematical equation right now, because if they run out of money because of certain random crashes, like the Fed securities market crashing 60% yesterday, that is going to be the nail in the coffin of the perfect storm, the perfect gamma storm. Large marge. So take a look again, right? So here, quarter end of June 30th, meeting between Biden, Powell, Yellen, and Gensler. So the Avengers. This is the Avengers no one really asked for. Guess what? 2008 crash started around the end of Q3 with the collapse of Lehman Brothers on September 15th, 2008. Anybody remember that? Hands up. Remember that? End of the quarters are when the system gets really strained due to the underlying plumbing of the markets and the necessity to pump balance sheets. Banks reporting dates are known inflection points on the short-term funding markets and typically fall in the end of the month, quarter, and of course the year. But periodically, the 15th of the month is also a pressure point. Fast forward to when the Fed attempted to reverse QE. A year after performing QT, the reverse of QE, the repo market blew up to 10% interest on September 15th, 2019, due to way too many loans that had to be handled. You can see how strain on the market starts to amplify around particular dates of quarters ends and occasionally the 15th of months. So this is putting dates into our precious virgin ears. We definitely have been avoiding these dates because it is far better to be able to not be manipulated by potential FUD dates, right? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and that doubt can easily be changed with the word dates. People are saying yeet, which is nice. Let's see. Check out Wish is ripping after hours. Okay, we'll take a look at other stocks in a second. After hours, it looks like Wish has gone up 1.5%. Currently up 5.7%. I wouldn't call that, now that I'm callous to the price action of AMC and GME, I wouldn't call that a rip. And the after hours, if we're symmetrical with the dip right before power hour, we are actually forming a double bottom, a perfect George W in the AMC chart. In fact, I drew a George W earlier. I could just do this. Perfect. Now it's like this George W was for this pattern right here on AMC. Cooking with Rick and Rye, welcome to the Moon Platoon. Happy to have you lead the Meatball Army to Valhalla. let's talk about that dark pool as well. We have too much to cover here. So fast forward to when the Fed attempted to reverse the QE, so that's where we are right now. We're approaching the end of Q2, which is June 30th, right where I drew the end of that bullish pennant playing out. So the NSCC 002 is having accelerated effectiveness. This is huge urgency to get this passed for margin requirements and margin calling members. Why would they want to be pushing this out of the door, right? Remember, we talked about as early as Monday that when we had the DTCC approving this measure, the 002 and 801, they were improving it with accelerated progress here. They think that it's about to hit the fan. They need to protect themselves. Something other to note, that Biden, Yellen, Gensler, and Powell all met for climate change discussions yesterday. That's the entire context of the quote. The regulators reported that the financial system is in a strong condition. The financial system is in a strong condition. What they are actually doing in this meeting, something similar to discussing letting X, Y, and Z fail, just like they discussed letting Lehman Brothers fail in 2008. We're going to have to find out soon. This is much sooner that the other foot is going to fall than later. So we're going to go into the after hours because we are paying attention to whether or not the margin call squeeze is going to be initiated today. And if not, we have 1 to 5 days to consider whether or not the NSCC 002 is initiating margin calls sometime this week. Tosha Vanderford says, I seen a fire sale today. Remember that bullish pennant that I drew earlier actually wouldn't have minded if AMC dropped all the way down to hit the bottom of its pennant, all the way down at $54. So there's that breakout right here, the 29th. If this went and hit 53.48 on the bottom of this pennant here, that would have been a higher, a ascending level of support. So this is a higher low than when we had back on 51.07. That was back on the 22nd. Right, so that was 2 days ago. We dipped all the way to 51.07, but it's a good thing we did, because without that, we would not have another touch point on this bullish pennant here. The last time we were able to touch on the bottom of the pennant was all the way in the 11th, where we were able to take 43.06, and the last time was the day before on 41.90, where the wick of the pennant went all the way down to 39.71. So whether or not we are going to see this pattern play out and shake off some paper-handed port noise at the same time, that's a question that we're going to have to answer in conjunction with what we already knew, that there is some massively important steps that we are taking to be able to ensure that the price action continues. Now, people have been talking about this head and shoulders pattern here. I'm just gonna erase it all and come back later. This head and shoulders pattern there. There's a head and shoulders pattern here, and this is a negative. This is a very negative pattern, but in this case, it actually serves as a secondary minor pattern for our macro pennant here. If we actually followed the head and shoulders pattern here, we would have gone all the way down exactly where to $54, where we should have gone today, right? Not touching the bottom of the pennant doesn't invalidate the structure of the pattern. It just means that the bulls are even stronger than we thought, because they didn't have to let a Trojan horse into their gates, right? They didn't have to let the price action fall all the way down to $54, but still keep this pattern. Now, that said, this head and shoulders pattern is almost all but invalidated, right? It had tapered off here, and since there is no symmetrical bump on this side, we are seeing essentially a fizzling out of that pattern. So even if we wanted to dip down to 54 again, we will have to do so because of a different pattern altogether. Let's see if you guys have any questions for us while we talk more about what Dave Lauer thinks about the dark pools, and how he is getting a lot of flack right now for saying that dark pools aren't acting the same way that we thought that they act. And I think a lot of Tej is coming in the chat and saying, yeah, we heard that Charles Payne called Mr. Paper-Handed Portnoy, Mr. Dave Portnoy, this word, and just so that I don't have to say it, let's let Charles say it here, and you can only play it so many times before we get demonetized. So here it is.
I'm trying to. No, I'm not being. You're being a little bitch.
Oh.
Listen, would you stop looking at these people and go to Gary Gensler?
Oh no.
Would you ask Gary Gensler to change the rules? Social media is.
That's pretty great. Beefing online. That is Dave Portnoy. He has been called Paper-Handed Portnoy ever since January's Gamma Squeeze, and that's a definition, right, of a paper hander. Look at his face. When you take a look at Dave's face, you're like, this person probably doesn't even have a wife's boyfriend. He probably doesn't even think about his Lambo color. He doesn't even know what crayons even taste like. So this Dave Portnoy fellow coming on to Charles Payne today and got called a little, I said, sorry, can't say that. But what we can say is whether or not the AMC options chain is making any sense right now. We've been following the options chain for much of the day, and a update on whether or not that $57 put wall is going to keep our price action below the $57 mark tomorrow is going to be on everyone's minds as well. If we can't push past 57, then we're not going to be able to take the 1, 2, 3 levels of resistance that it takes to go back to 360% retracement. This is retracement from the January Gamma Squeeze, and we had been taken down a peg each time we were tempted to take $60. But luckily, yesterday we got all the way up to 61.10, which is a perfect example of the candle bar meeting the top of this pennant, which it confirms it once again. Scopio says, dang, he got slammed on live TV. Get this man life alert. Get it to him stat. Oh no. David Morgan says, I am jacked. If you guys notice, we have special ultra low latency, which helps when we give away fun prizes. So we just crossed 1,000 likes in here. I think you guys deserve a reward, which means Meatball is going to do a quick trick for you guys. And then we're going to wait around for 2,000 likes where we're going to give away another trivia prize. Meatball, can you dab? Can you do a quick dab? Dab. Good boy, dab. Good. The microphone was blocking him. Dab. Good boy. Thanks for smashing that like, you guys. Here you go. Oh no, I spilled all the treats. I guess he's gonna have to eat all the treats now. Nice little link. Ooh, I do like nice little links. So back down to the dark pool data here. Psychological warfare. By the way, if you guys not seen the clip of the CEO Citadel Securities of him talking about how he is banking on using your emotions.
Dynamics of how.
This is a 20-second clip courtesy of Jezebel. Thanks so much. Give those mods some rockets in the chat, seriously.
There's an understanding that many dynamics of how humans behave can be, in a sense, taken advantage of by technology. If we know how humans behave and we can predict that, we can use that to better position our portfolios. And a number of quantitative strategies rely upon human biases and behavior to be successful. There's an understanding that.
Okay, I thought I was going to stop a little bit earlier, but there is an understanding that you guys are going to cave without the right data, right? If it's entirely upon emotion, if it's looking at this day and thinking, yeah, I can't afford to lose any more money, I guess I'm just going to fold, right? That is exactly how high stakes gambling, you lose money. That's exactly how day traders lose money. And that is what Kenneth Griffin is expecting you to do, right? That is a hot take from the man himself, the person who is currently manipulating your outlook on the world. Speaking of outlook on the world, Ortex reported earlier that it is having the exchange came out with brand new data, right? Remember back in the good old days where we had FINRA watch parties of wondering when FINRA was going to release its data? Well, Ortex has been giving us hourly updates, more or less, every couple of hours, updating the short interest rate. So far, it's at 14.34%, but as of a week ago, the June 15th exchange reported short interest is 85 million shares. So this is much larger than expected, and yet this is not the first time Ortex has underreported that number. So each time we see a 14%, 13%, even 12%, which is what it was as recently as this past weekend, we can now expect that it's likely only a part of the story, or at the very least a part of the shorts, because Ortex is now reporting as high of interest rate as 18%. Okay, and then I am in email talks with Ortex. Let me see if I can pull up something. Lou Ski says KG doesn't have any personal experience with human behavior. He has to hire people to explain it for him. Kenneth Griffin, if you guys haven't taken a look at the video with the greatest like to dislike ratio that I've ever seen in terms of dislikes, you can't even see the likes anymore. That is one of the most important pieces of the perception war right now. That Kenneth Griffin is losing. So he's keeping quiet. But honestly, Ken, if I were you, I would recommend getting a Twitter account ASAP and just start tweeting your hottest takes, right? Can you imagine this person jumping on the internet and just tweeting like, you know, these apes aren't even smart. It's like they eat crayons. I would love that. That would just make my day. Okay, let's take a look at a real life cup and handle pattern here, and consider how long it takes for an actual cup and handle to create itself. Something that the newer technical traders and people that are learning technical analysis say about cup and handles is that they happen intraday. Right? That has not been likely. It's not likely that we do see intraday cups and handles. Now we can see intraday pennants, right? This was a bullish pennant here. This was a bullish pennant here. Right? You can see intraday pennants, but you are likely not going to be able to see the same pattern as a cup and handle because those happen over weeks, if not months. Okay, let's go back to the hourly for AMC. This is the Wynn Resort 2012 cup and handle squeeze, coerced buying action after a certain extent. This broke down after one attempt at faking you out, creating the handle, and then the second attempt at faking you out, making you think that the cup and handle wouldn't form, and then finally bouncing off of the 50-month EMA. So that is month with an M. Right, so the limitations of this is often coming from macro, huge scale indicators of whether or not there is going to be a rally. So what we look at is a 200-day EMA, right? This purple line. What they looked at is a 50-month EMA. Now, actually, I'm curious about whether or not we can track that on GME. So we're going to do some live technical analysis right now. So we're going to go out to the daily chart and take a look at that cup and handle, okay? So as of right now, the EMA here is trending below it. I'm imagining that if we expand this out to the 50-month EMA, because of GME's price action, how far back it was, it is going to even depress it even lower. So if you go to indicators, you can edit your exponential moving average and moving average timelines here. That's the 200-day. If we have, the max is 999. Okay, so we're not even going to be able to do a 50-month. But let's say that we consider a shorter timeline for our EMA. Let's do a 50-day EMA. And now we have a much better picture of when that EMA is going to give our cup and handle, especially the handle part, a bounce. Now, right now you see too many levels of resistance and support, so you can't really tell. Let's go out to the hourly. Okay, actually, I need it to be on the daily. I'll highlight the EMA here so that you guys can see it. So in blue, whoops. In blue, this is the exponential moving average here. right? And you see that it is actually cusping the bottom of this price action as of right now. When was the last time that you saw a EMA here cusping the bottom of the price action? The Wynn Resort Cup and Handle. So this is live TA right now. We are experiencing GME with its price action. I'm going to highlight in yellow, coming off and nearly touching the EMA right now. So that is how similar these two patterns are. You see that the EMA crosses in under the handle here, right? Bisects it and then comes back around to support the crucial cup and handle portion. So I'm going to draw the rest of this in dotted line for you. Moon. That is currently the same pattern of the Wynn Resorts cup and handle. That's kind of ugly. But you guys get it. That's the cup and the handle. Apes, attack! So over on the other side, we have AMC's price action here. Trending fairly sluggishly, but that's okay. Oh my God, says Mike, I can't get any more jacked. Shills don't sleep no more because they do work overtime. That's right, as a reminder. So what we're taking a look at here for AMC's price action is staying between two fairly wide levels of resistance and support. So $55.75 and $70. So this is where AMC's price action was for most of the day. And now we see a wedging down of that price action with a ascending level of support, as well as a descending level of resistance here. So it descends all the way down from here. You would say 57.47 is where it was rejected, right at the VWAP. And then above the VWAP here at 57.30. And then at this level of resistance at 56.99. In fact, if you take a look at where they get rejected, all except the outlier of this 57.30, they all make sense because a technical level of resistance was the reason why the price action bounced at that level. Lebog says, thanks for everything. I appreciate the intelligence. Oh, you guys got it. The only thing the 3,000 of you need to understand is, one, we're actually hoping to be able to highlight your artwork. So if you have fan art of Andrew Mo, of Meatball, or of the Moon Platoon, you have until we hit 111,111 subscribers to submit and see your art not only get a presentation and featured on the channel, but also a chance to have it show up on merch. We already are talking to a couple of artists right now, and there's gonna be first, second, and third places. But also on our way to 111,000 subscribers, we're gonna have a wish come about here. So either way, we either get to 2,000 likes first, or we get to 109,000 subscribers on this live stream, right? We are just 59 subscribers away. 59, you can count them on your fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, right? So you have 59 subscribers away until we hit that milestone, 109,000 subscribers. Okay, and where is artwork submitted? You can submit it to Andrew Mo Money on Instagram or Twitter. And you can even tag Andrew Mo on Twitter or Instagram. But sending it directly is much appreciated. The more FUD in the chat means closer we are, and yet everyone seems positively thrilled. Everyone seems jacked to the tees. Consolidation, lower volume is exactly what we have been expecting for a very long time. In fact, we had seen this even earlier back in the days of this cup forming, right? When we were consolidating around 160s, that was just the lowest of volumes until we started another skyrocket back up to 335 on GME, and very similar on AMC, around $14 was where AMC had been holding for a long time, and that was already 50% up on that by that time, right? Now we're currently 500% up. It's completely different now. Lorenzo says, have any pictures of me in front of a green screen? No. Not that I'm aware of. Tesh says, anyone seen that Charles Payne interview? Okay. If you guys hadn't seen it yet, we'll play it one more time. It's 20 seconds. It's pretty great. It's 20 seconds. It'll make you smile.
Yeah,
Wait, hold on. Not this one. Where did I put it? I think I threw it somewhere else. Oops. Here it is. They didn't hear no bell.
No, I'm not being you're being a little bitch. Listen, would you stop looking at these people and go to Gary Gensler and say help change the rules?
Oh man.
Would you ask Gary Gensler to change the rules? Social media is.
Oh, that was Dave Portnoy getting called a little bitch by Charles Payne on cable TV. That's right, live TV. Meatball is also like, can you believe this? Can you believe this? David DeGreat says, hashtag AMC line $73. AMC has the top of its pennant at 73. In fact, if you guys are just looking at the prices here, not so much as the price action, I will be able to show you this macro pennant on both of these to show you just how jacked we all are. Tej, welcome to the Mo Monkey Moon Platoon. I appreciate that. You are a part of that infantry level of the Special Operations Moon Platoon tier. Love that. Absolutely love it. Tempest says, to be fair, the dude came in and called him a moron and other things beforehand. Oh, I think Charles Payne is absolutely justified. It doesn't even matter if he called him anything. Doesn't even if they threw verbal hands, it doesn't matter. It's entirely justified. And if you guys are looking at the left side of my screen, you'll see that we have the cup and handle currently in formation with, just take a look at the 50, this is a 50-month EMA, right? We don't have the luxury of having that much data. So this is the 50-day EMA trending underneath and coming to support the price action I've highlighted in blue. Ja Rule was not pulling my leg. I see how this is. Daniel S says, from a technical standpoint, it looked like a big fat George W was forming that got rejected at $57. So big fat George W's. In fact, George W's are a micro pattern. Usually they form a little bit closer to the intraday patterns that we can see, which is why George W's are so easy to call. They're similar to bullish pennants in that sense. The George W that might have occurred does not matter, right? His pattern has fizzled out. We talked about it earlier during the live stream. And it's something that we are going to be able to play into this macro pennant, but not necessarily part of the same narrative. Eddie says, margin call? Don't you see we're losing this week? Eddie, let's look with our eyes. We need to see lower volume. So let's take a look once again. Length, generally cups, blah, 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 depth, blah, 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 blah. These are for cups and handles, right? You see almost no volume on GME side, but for AMC, a very similar story. Volume should decrease as prices decline and remain lower than average. Then it should increase when the stock begins to make its move higher. So this is the key kicker here, is that this amount of consolidation and downward pressure is exactly what it takes for these bullish patterns to come through. Right? Your friend is like your friend who always has a tell before they go do something insane. Maybe they're like sleeping on the ground, or maybe they're twitching their eyebrow, right? This is the eyebrow twitch from the stock market, showing us that the bulls are soon going to be in control. What's the difference between a bullish pennant and a bearish pennant? It's the uptrend. Right? The fact that we're coming from a serious uptrend, such as the one all the way down at $10, means that this is a bullish uptrend. Right? So coming from that uptrend here, such as like this, that is a bullish uptrend. The Citadel South America really just get raided? I don't know. That's interesting. That's where the hive mind comes in and talks about this. Huh. So how close are we? 40 subs away, 40 subscribers away, or 613 likes until the next trivia giveaway. Automated margin call, pump it up. This is the thing, is that automated margin calls is like a beautiful Christmas gift in June. Right? It was about to become reverse Christmas. Today is reverse Christmas Eve, and tomorrow is reverse Christmas, right? It is 6 months away from Christmas, the furthest you can be away from Christmas, which means we have gotten our reverse Christmas gift early. A beautiful, low consolidation, low volume, exactly what it seems like, right? It seems like a gift given to us if you can visually see the patterns at hand, and a curse if you don't understand it, right? People who come in the chat and say, what do you mean? This is so bad. We've had such a terrible day, down 2.5%. I can't believe it, right? Low volume and consolidation downward with a small sub 5% dip on a day-to-day is exactly what we're looking for. The subs, the likes, the Meatball, the cartoon versions of Andrew and Meatball, the Moon Platoon, the Mo Monkeys. So this is, if people are wondering what the difference between the Moon Platoon and the Mo Monkey is, you are a Mo Monkey, and this banana rocket is the Moon Platoon, and we are currently on our way to the moon.
Oh.
Has anyone seen the Lux oscillator on SPY? Right, take a look at Lux right now. Strong set of buys, sells, buys, and now a sell indicator on AMC. Let's take a look at SPY. So we were tracking Torchlight earlier today. All right, let's give it up. Let's give up that spot. 005 delayed for 45 days is Poker Life. It happens. It happens. SPY had a bullish crossover recently, and in the aftermarket had a strong buy signal. S&P 500 feeling like it is currently playing around with a blue EQ cloud, and now already heading up in the 1 minute chart at least into the overbought Bollingers. Tron wants to check out this short interest on Ortex, right? Remember, this number is underreported as of 7 days ago. And so why wouldn't we expect something very similar? Okay, let's see this Ortex tweet. This is not going to be it. This is it. The exchange is reporting 85 million shares. So back on the 15th, I think that only like 65 or 70 million shares were reported on Ortex. So a week ago, when we were the weakest in terms of short interest that we had ever been, I think, yeah, had ever been since January, we were all the way down below 12% for both AMC and GME. Back then, the actual short interest rate was closer to 18%. So instead of 12 and 11, we had a 6% difference. So that short interest rate blowing up is only a piece of the data that we now have to continue to rely on hedge funds. Unless a regulation comes out that says hedge funds have to actually tell the truth, they don't have to report they only have to report voluntarily. They don't have to report every piece of short interest data that they have, which means that Ortex only has a piece of that puzzle. Jacob says, Andy, I love you so much. However, I've been turned off from getting the channel because of titles like this. Might just be me, Jacob. If that's how you feel, sure. We'll start working towards making better titles that reflect what is going on. But I strongly believe that the after hours margin call is coming one of these days from the bullish pennant that we are drawing here, right? The technicals have been very much a North Star, a lighthouse in the dark. And so, Jacob, you are entitled to your opinion, right? I'm going to continue making the best quality content, but if you guys didn't get this signal from me, I would be disappointed in myself. Let's see. Jacob Baker, love you, Andy. Let's see, if you rub Jim Cramer's head 3 times, a short squeeze happens. That is guaranteed. A reminder, right? That 20-second clip. Some of you had not yet seen it. Mr. Ken Griffin here, talking about how he understands manipulation of emotion is exactly how to win a battle of attrition.
Many dynamics of how humans behave can be, in a sense, taken advantage of by technology. If we know how humans behave and we can predict that, we can use that to better position our portfolios. And a number of quantitative strategies rely upon human biases and behavior.
A number of actual algorithms depend on your bias. A number of algorithms depend on whether or not you can be easily fooled. And that is the magic of how to run a hedge fund, of one of the most hated hedge funds by the CEO of Citadel. AMC is currently still trending around 0.28% after hours. 56.70 is where it closed for the day. Take a look at GameStop, up less than 0.5% right now. So after hours, we're just keeping these macro patterns up to make sure that people who had questions about them get them answered. Frankie Malik says, "Hey Andrew, forgot how are they going to pay for this short squeeze? Sounds like impossible money." Frankie, the triage comes in when it comes to how much money that they have to pay and who is going to pay them. First of all, let me switch this back to the cup and handle diagram. There. Actually, let's use the real one. Okay. This one. This is the real cup and handle back from 2012 for Wynn Resorts. Okay, so let's take a look at who is going to pay. Then let me see. That friggin' guy says, "Apes, double check me. I'm reading Citadel and DeCleve got raided for manipulation. The article's in Spanish. Happened in Ecuador 6/22/21. Okay, Apes, please do help that friggin' guy out. The first level is the defaulting hedge funds. Let's call them the Melvins. All right, the Melvins and the Citadels are the ones that have to pay first. Then we're going to have the non-defaulting members of the DTCC pay because of certain regulations that have been called the skin in the game regulations, right? We're going to call those the BlackRocks. Even if they were long the AMC and GME meme stocks, if they're part of the DTCC, they're going to still have to pay for a piece of this risky uncle behavior. And Melvin is the king of risky uncles, right? You can call them Citadels too. You can call them Kennys. Then the next step is that DTCC insurance policy. And then finally, we're going to have Uncle Sam. I know you're having trouble reading this, but just visually, hopefully that you can follow this. Right, Uncle Sam is the one that ultimately pays for all of the bailouts of these banks. And the fact is, this bailout's going to be just the same. It's going to be hardworking Americans paying the mistakes of these hedge funds. And honestly, at this rate, if you're not sick by that idea, just understand that this has been 13 years since the last financial crisis, and we're seeing exactly the same signals that it's going to happen again, and they're not even sorry. In fact, Mr. Citadel Kenny G CEO Kid Wonder was back in 2008 shorting. He was shorting back then and made money off of the backs of people who suffered during 2008. Let's see. Tej is asking if that was the Twitter account that shared the Kenneth Griffin video regarding quant strategy. I don't think so. Not sure. Russ L says nobody's going to tell you when to sell. If they do, they are a shill and you do not have to listen to them, right? If people are telling you how to do financial advice, right? If they're trying to tell you to manipulate your buying or selling action, they're likely not your friend, and they're definitely not following the law unless they're a certified financial advisor and they're specifically your financial advisor. Andrew, did you hear that Citadel is actually buying AMC to further manipulate the stock? Now that is a very old story. Citadel did go long on AMC. In fact, we can look at we can look at Citadel ownership in AMC, and the last time that they actually reported it. Okay, so here is Citadel Ownership in AMC. The last time that this share changed, I think it was even larger, but maybe, yeah, no, I think this is the same one. So back in May 21st, that's how old the story that you're reporting is, they changed their share ownership by 163%. So that means that they have 263% of what they originally had, which is a triple down of AMC shares. So this 750,000 of shares, a drop in the bucket of a total day worth of volume. Who knows why they took it back in May, but this is the last 13F that we have on record of how Citadel's position in AMC reflects what they expect to see in AMC. If you guys are interested in what exactly this implies, we actually will have Austin Tobit, who has a couple of theories on this show tomorrow. That's at least what we planned. And then next week, Austin Tobit is bringing on Dave Lauer. So not only are we going to have a Tobit tomorrow, so I hope you guys are jacked to the tees, we're going to have more trivia giveaways, and we're going to have Mr. Dave Lauer on next week. Yo, Ape Hands, the Chad the man is in the house. Chad is an absolute Chad, and that is exactly what we're talking about. Henry says, honestly, my biggest fear is that they're too good at this. They might close markets and pay newest buys 2x in the money, since XX divided by XX USA ain't gonna F up world economy. Kiki. Well, the US did it once before in 2008 in the global financial crisis. That definitely started with mortgage-backed securities in the US and hedge funds in the US. And this time around, it is again hedge funds, mostly in the US. The first hedge fund that to fall might have been a London hedge fund, but it doesn't mean that it will be the last or even the second, third, fourth, or fifth one. If you guys know that margin calls have already started, right? That is the main reason why that title is exactly what it is. Let me turn it back to camera 2. Go camera 2, 3, 2, 1. Understand that the economy doesn't exist in a vacuum. Being able to interact with other members of the global economy is what the US hardly ever thinks about, right? They think about how many millions of Americans they're screwing over. You probably have to think about the millions of other retail investors across all the global economies that hedge funds are truly screwing over one at a time. Let's see. I want sleep like that dog. Off the Hook Girls is making a lot of cogent points today, but most importantly, they do want to sleep like that dog. It's flat. They're trying to keep it 0% for after hours. Right now, it seems like this is the least amount of volatility possible because there's just no volume whatsoever. We were underneath 80 million before, and we're still under it right now. Now, that said, it's not like we expect to see like a whole million right as after hours begins, but it has been 44 minutes. So we are trending our way through the day, and it seems like AMC has just been laying down sideways. Let's take a look at GME. Pretty much the same thing. It was less than 0.5% up the last time we checked it, and it is still right around there. 450 likes left until we do a surprise giveaway. Subscribers left before we do it. Looks like subscribers are going to win at 109,000 subscribers today, and we're going to do a clap. We're going to do a meatball trick, and we're going to do a giveaway for this day, the blessed day here of June 24th. It is the anti-Christmas Eve day. Inverse Christmas Eve day. Your dedication day. Low volatility, low IV. Yeah, cheap calls and puts. Watch that IV start to get lower and lower, and make sure if you guys don't have a savviness about options that will actually cause you to make steady money, then be careful because it's an easy way to lose a ton. Cody says, I wish the squeeze would happen today or tomorrow. Well, you know, a lot of people are wishing that the squeeze happened even earlier. A lot of people are wishing if this is going to take 5 months, might as well take another 6 so that they can get long-term capital gains instead of short-term. Let's see. Tim Harrington. Yes, there is. You do have to opt out of shares. You know that I'm here 7 hours, right? And opt out of share loaning if you can, right? Because you're automatically going to be on a margin account. Make sure to switch to a cash account to help out the squeeze. Let's see. Meatball heard snacks. Oh, he's just waiting for those snacks in the back right there. We've had multiple different tutorials on how to turn off share lending in the past. And if you still don't know how to Google turn off share lending on Webull or on whatever platform you're currently on, remember the current trading platform that I'm using to show you guys these cups and these pennants is Webull. And if you want to be able to get 2 free stocks with the link in the description, that is your prerogative, or $250 of free BTC with the link in the description. Peggy Thibodeau, or Thibodeau, thank you so much for joining as a monkey. You are now part of that moon platoon. It's a pleasure for us to do a trivia right now, because I think we have 2 more subscribers. Wow. It's a grind. It really is. It's a daily grind. We got 2 more subscribers until we hit 109,000. Daily grind, but you know, that's why we work. That's why we put in the work here. What does it say? 108,998. Yikes. Meatball, here's the 10D package right here. This treat is going straight into Meatball's mouth with 1 more subscriber, and we did it, Reddit. We done did it. Meatball, here you go. Good job. All right, so thank you guys. We are going to do a trivia question of probably one that you might have heard before. First 3 people that get it right are going to be immediately entered as with a chance to win, and then the next few, maybe 10 to 20 people, are going to be random. This is just a couple of the fun things that we do to interact with the community on the channel. But of course, we are constantly watching the after hours to make sure if there are any price actions that doesn't make sense, or you have any other questions about the stock market on your way up to financial freedom, this is the best way to do it. So boom, let's see. Hold on. Where is my Glen? Here it is. I'll also pop a Glen. Silverback Parable says, for any apes who may be holding Torchlight, feeling like they made a mistake, look at the real company you bought, Meta Materials. They like the stock. Don't sell AMC to buy, though, and also don't listen to me. Silverback, that is a primo. As a primo message, you covered all your bases. Thank you for the super. All right. People are like, the answer is cup and handle. The answer is cup and handle. No, it's going to be a question about Meatball. The question is, and now we are going to be a little bit more about whether or not you've been paying attention. How old is Meatball turning, and when is his birthday? He has a very special birthday this year, very much like our 111,000 subscriber, 111,111 subscriber Make-A-Wish birthday. Okay, so OnePlus saves to answer the question correctly. He is going to be the first one. His birthday is on August 8th, and he is turning 8 this year. We have Evoy323 answering the question correctly in the second. This is exciting. The race is off. Lori Blanks is the third one to answer the question correctly. And now it's going to be random. Oh, hear that? Nails are cracking. Bones. Cheers, guys. Charles Hartman, I see you. You're on the board now. Ben Harrington, you're on the board. We have Reed Holyman. Remember, guys, even if you don't get this giveaway, you're still gonna be able to you're still going to be able to get a chance for a macro giveaway sooner rather than later. We're going to have one at the Wish at 111,111 subscriber mark. Sneaky Pete. Sometimes it's about a luck of which one of you shows up on my screen on top, and some of you is about fun. No Madant. Cooper Marshall wants a little recap. That's coming up in just a second. Cooper Marshall, we're gonna do a recap of what happened just today. Ocho. Charlie Abel says, long time sub. All money in. Let's see. Still don't have everybody yet. LMAO Ocho. We have Krang 88 at 8 at 88. Professor Longboy will be 8 on August. Ocho. T Sulfur wants another chance. And then let's give it to Tej says, I'm making my next patient wait until this giveaway happens. Are you a doctor? Oh no. Golden birthday for his golden corgi. Stoli 77. You're gonna jump in here. And then finally, let's have Sergio Salgado and Doreen Gonzalez. Both of you get a chance. And heck, let's give it to It's Me Karen and Mark Brett as well. Okay, so you guys are the ones with a shot. So these are the people from earlier that got a chance. These are the new ones. And these people that had a chance earlier are going to go into a big old database, which is called this Google Doc, of people who answered questions before. What macro bullish pattern is GME in? And then when is Meatball's birthday? And how old is he turning? Right after this raffle, we're going to do a quick recap of the day. And then onwards, we go into the after hours. So, random choice, 3, 2, 1. All money in. All money in. Congrats, send me an email at andrewmobusiness@gmail.com and you get to pick something from the merch store or a 90-minute one-on-one with me. Let's get this bread. Okay, quick recap time. We are seeing a lower volume, higher consolidation. This is exactly what we want. See, we are seeing a slide on GME right along the exponential moving average. Now I've lowered it to 50 because that is going to be a equivalent to the 50-month EMA, something akin to just how volatile GME stock is and the short story that it has taken to form this cup, which is a couple of months long cup, 3-month long cup, and compared to this 3-year long cup, right? So there is a factor of 12 missing here. So we changed the 50-month EMA to the 50-day EMA to see whether or not there is a launching point right around where we are now. And there certainly is. There's the dotted line right there. Furthermore, on AMC's side, we have this bullish pennant here, all of which needs consolidated volume as well as price action. So that right now we have AMC facing a potential breakout point from this bullish pattern of 629 or 630 right at the end of the month, where we are seeing T plus 21, T plus 35 converge to perhaps T plus 0 when NSCC 002 comes out and starts kicking butt. Oh wait, and that's today. DTCC and the Federal Register have taken the have taken NSCC 002 as gospel and starts implementing effective immediately today, which is why you guys are likely going to have to keep looking at the after hours, at least a few hours in maybe the first one or two, to make sure that there is no margin call squeeze happening in the middle of after hours. Ja Rule. Yeah, it's more about Centaurus. There is a very low chance that Adam Aaron has worn no pants on purpose to pretend to be an ape this long, right? There is a non-zero chance of that happening, that he is actually an undercover agent, but it is a very low chance. Let's see. Citadel 7% Centrius, a 7% stake in Centrius doesn't mean that Aaron works for Citadel. Exactly, right? You're gonna find closer correlations in shoe size and heart disease than that correlation. Tenuous at best, and in the world of the business that track together, that is just something that makes sense. Let's take a look, if you guys hadn't yet, for a really quick clip. It is someone who called it completely wrong, the man who had a 1 cent price target at AMC. It's just very funny, right? So it's back in March of 10th of 2021, where AMC was trending right around $10. This person said that AMC was going back down to 1 cent, and just watch how confident he is and understand that mainstream media and an analyst like this constantly wants you to listen to their their price projections, right? That's why I hardly do any. I'm expecting a breakout of this bullish pennant. I'm not giving you a price, and I'm not even giving you guys a hard deadline of 29th or 30th, right? This is when if the pattern holds, if we don't go too far above or too far below this pennant, that is where we expect it to break out. But nowhere near the level of flagrant manipulation or the flagrantly wrong price predictions as 1 cent price target on AMC.
Percent of the after hours on the back of its earnings report. Our next guest is fresh off the company's call, and he put out a new note today saying AMC is headed to a penny a share. Rich Greenfield of Lightshed Partners joins us now. Rich, great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me, Melissa. This has been a crazy 24 hours.
Well, I was going to say, between the Fubo call you had last year and the AMC to a penny call, I hope you have security cameras installed around your home.
You know, Fubo's down, pretty meaningfully from, where we put a sell on it back in December. It's obviously been very volatile, but it's down pretty dramatically over the course of the past couple of months. And I think if you look at
Movie Mang is asking, if it squeezes after hours, how does one sell? Well, hopefully you have a broker that lets you sell in the after hours, such as Webull. And that is one of the best ways to be able to sell, is that you have complete and total access of the extended hours, right? This is just a chance for the hedge funds, the algorithms, and the traders to go home. Well, not the algorithms. They have to stay working 24/7. But one of the things that you need to understand is the market doesn't sleep when it gets to the after hours or the pre-market, right? It's just that pre-market opens at 1 a.m. for me, and that would be an unsustainable work ethic if I was waking up at 1 a.m. to watch the pre-market with you.
AMC, we've been looking at sort of the rise in the stock as investors seem excited by the reopening. What they're missing is that this is not Cinemark. Cinemark's actually got a very good,
And if you are wondering how to get a Webull account, it's in the description down below, and you get 2 free stocks on top of it.
So there is no value to equity holders. People can buy it because they're excited about going back to theaters, but there is no value to this company. And ultimately, that's what's going to matter, is they can't pay off their debt ever.
You also mentioned, of course, the secular headwinds facing all of the movie industry, and that's shorter release times, direct-to-consumer releases via video streaming, et cetera, et cetera. So the same old sort of arguments working against the movie theaters, but it seems like the leverage is really what got you for AMC putting it at a penny a share.
Well, I would step back for a second.
Okay.
This company generated $770 million of EBITDA before the pandemic. So go back to 2019. Now think about what's happened. Forget about lingering health concerns. I'm sure at some point we're all going to feel comfortable doing what we did before the pandemic. Whether that's 2022 or 2023, I'm not smart enough to know that answer. What I do know, though, is that executives like Jeff Shell, who runs your parent company, NBC Universal, Bob Chapek, who runs Disney, Jason Kilar, who runs Warner Media, Bob Backus, who runs Viacom CBS, all of them have said very publicly in the last several weeks, the consumer has spoken. We are not going back to pre-pandemic release windows. We are going to get movies sooner into the home and really empower the consumer with more choice. The end result is attendance levels are just never going to be, and so that 770 million of EBITDA is never going to be achievable again. And even if it was, they can't pay off their debt. But if they can't get close to that level, this thing literally is worth, can't cover its debt, let alone have any value for equity holders. And that's really why we put the penny stock target on there for 12 months.
Yeah, and the penny, let's be clear, is based on your 8.2 times 2022 adjusted EBITDA estimates. And you're saying that
Correct.
That could even be generous. So basically you're saying,
We're basically saying this company can't cover its debt.
Right. It's going to go bankrupt.
Ultimately. Now, it'll be a slow bleed because they don't have near-term pressure. They've gotten a lot of relief. So they have a long time before they go bankrupt, which is why basically you put it at a penny. But the reality, because I'm not saying this company is going to file for bankruptcy in the next 12 months, but this is a company that doesn't seem to have any way to repay. Remember, it's got $5 billion of debt right now. It's got a mountain of deferred rent, hundreds of millions of dollars of deferred rent because it couldn't pay its rent over the last 12 months. I don't see any way with shortening release windows. Every one of these studios is realizing the major driver of SVOD is big movies. You look at Soul for Disney, Hamilton, Wonder Woman, The Matrix is coming to HBO Max. All of these movies direct to consumer, directly into your home at no extra cost. The idea that you're going to go see as many movies at these prices in theaters, I think that's a pipe dream. Right. It's just not going to happen.
Let me ask you this, because I did see this tweet earlier, and I understand that you have since deleted it, but everything lives forever.
Everything lives forever, including, I just wanted to say that some of these art submissions are already coming out. It doesn't take too long to show how much you guys care and rep the